Yeah.
Yeah, people are wondering because if you have like cruise missile is boosted off of your maneuver, and slam is a maneuver. So with slam, it's not too bad because if you do like a 3 forward and then 3 bank, the value of your maneuver was 3. But then you factor in things like daredevil. Daredevil is a 1 hard maneuver.
Yeah, maneuver. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like, yeah, it's like, okay, do I get to choose between a 3 and a 1, or is one forced to happen before the other? And frankly, this is one of those that you just take the simpler answer and you just say, just use your regular maneuver. Done.
Right.
That's it. Like, quit trying to make it complicated. It shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should be live, though I don't know if we'll have any people watching until we get around to 10 o'clock.
OCX Radio.
It claims there's 2 people watching, but one of them's me.
Yeah, well, the other one's me.
Okay.
Audience of none.
You should post this. Oh, it was already posted up. Crucial Illuminati information here at OCX.
Ask the Illuminati.
Take your answers now because I'm never speaking of this again.
I love how it's become like a thing now, even though like it's really just a group of just me and a few other judges I know that we just bounce questions off of each other. And that's all it really is. But
and honestly, the way you make it sound, it's nothing different than what we do, but we're not judges.
Right. And like it all kind of came about because there's a judge group. It's the X-Wing League and Tournament Organizers group. And it was there for anybody who's like a judge or like runs a league or organizes tournaments can go on there and get answers to questions and bounce ideas off of each other. But it got to the point where it's got 190 members now, and it's just there are so many people in there that it can just turn into chaos. And that's where we're like a few of us said is like, okay, we're just going to take a step back and not deal with this because it's just too much. So we decided, okay, we'll just get our own little thing together because people were complaining that, oh, we shouldn't have this group be like exclusive. We shouldn't be excluding any people. It's like, well, you're right, but like I would like a small place that I could just talk with just people who are really into answering the specific questions. So I was like, let's get away from that group. It's like they're good for having a conversation about things, but there's a lot of people who get on there and they're like, no, this is fact. And it's like, did you even take a moment to think about this? Like, did you even read the cards before you declared this as fact?
Put all their emotion on the table and.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like there was a huge argument today over one of the things we'll discuss is like, and like I just looked at it and it says 157 replies, and I'm like, nope, not even gonna read it. Like there's just too much there. Like I got like a brief synopsis from the couple people who were arguing the most over it, and I was like, okay, like I get your points. I don't see why you're arguing for 157 comments, but. And then somebody said, why don't we put it to a vote? It's like, no, it's rules. There's a right way to do it. It's like, and they're like, you don't just vote over these things. It's like it should be unanimous. But,
yeah, you start voting over things, you're gonna have something that comes out in the future that's the same damn thing that gets voted opposite. But yeah, it just won't work.
Right.
Are you gonna do the intro in Spanish? Because that's what Coach wanted.
Oh, good Lord. I'd have to retranslate it again.
Was it Buenos Dios? Something like that.
Yeah, but like that's the easy part. But when it gets down into like all the other stuff.
Yeah, you almost made me really upset there, Montana, because a while back you said that you were going to go to Spirit Lake and pick up this machine. Right. And you sent me a picture of the machine from Spirit Lake. I'm like, what the hell? You're supposed to let me know you're only an hour away from me. I would have come seen you.
Yeah, no such luck. They just paid somebody to put it on a truck. So I didn't come out at all.
What? I just love how it's like, my wife's like, what does he mean the machine smells like hog shit? I'm like, well, because it came from an area that smells like hog shit. We don't smell the hog shit anymore because we breathe it in all the time. And when you're not used to it and you fire it up, people are like, wow, this smells like animal shit.
We haven't even turned it on yet. It's just unpacking it, like exposing it to the air, and it's seeping out of every pore. It's great.
Well, that's what happened when I got my Nintendo Wii. I got it from I used to live near Penn State's campus, and I just got it from some college kids that were broke and needed money. So I bought theirs, got it home, and turned it on. And as soon as that little fan in the back started whirling, just my entire house reeked of pot. And it took a lot of Wii playing to get rid of that smell.
He got a contact high from his Wii.
Yeah, basically, it was ridiculous.
You got any questions for the Illuminati there, Montana?
He just walked away.
Oh, he did. You got any rule clarification that you need to have straightened out from the Illuminati?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Only thing I have to say is, why is Genius and Trajectory Simulator a question? Why is this on here? Can't you read the cards?
Man, if I just answered that for most of the questions that came to me, I would probably piss off a lot of people. Because that is the answer a lot of the time. It's like, did you read the card? And that's what Michael Juras, if you've ever had him as a judge.
Yes, I've had him plenty of times.
Yeah, he is really good at being like condescending, and it's wonderful, because he'll walk up and somebody will ask him a question. He'll be like, well, what does the card say? And they're like, and they rattle it off. And he's like, well, there you go. It's like that's what it says. Do it. Like, but here's the question. It says it right there on the card. Do it.
I guess I never have. I don't have questions like that usually, but I will always remember him in that side tournament we played at on Saturday at Gen Con. He was my final opponent at the final table, and I was running Dengar and Bosk, and he was running Biggs, Miranda, and something else, and it was a B-wing. There was a B-wing in there. And he was coming around this asteroid. And I'm like, all right, what do I got to do here? I'm going to dial in a 3-bank. I'm going to plow through that asteroid. I'm going to probably block Biggs, but I'm still going to have a shot at range 1 on Miranda, because Miranda's probably going to bump into Biggs. So I dialed in the 3-bank maneuver, fly through the asteroid, don't take any damage, don't get any actions, don't really care. And then sure enough, Biggs bumps into me, Miranda bumps into Biggs, and then I proceed to annihilate Miranda. At the end of the match, he goes, "Yeah, you won that match, but if I would have seen you doing that 3-bank through the asteroid, the story would have been completely different." I'm like, well,
that's kind of how it goes. Like, man, if I would have known exactly what you were gonna do, I'd have won that. Like, yes, you would have.
I just looked at him like, well, what do you want me to say to that, man? I'll never forget that interaction. No, I love the guy. I mean, we had a blast at Worlds because I wasn't able to play. So, like, him and I, when he wasn't really busy, we're kind of like chatting up just a tad. But that was my first encounter with him, and I just thought that was funnier and shit. I'll never forget it. That's when I got
a this thing. Sorry, talking out of turn.
Oh no, you're fine.
Isn't there a chat on Google Hangouts?
Yes, it's over on the right side. You have to open it up though.
You open it from the left side, and it opens on the right side.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't see anything.
Well, when you mouse over, like, your picture,
got it.
Some icons come up on the left. There you go. All right. What is this?
This is a Kickstarter I backed.
Ooh. Oh, see, I don't like those. Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it.
I'm not a fan of the template holders that shoot straight up. I like the flat ones. Like,
right.
Who is it? Richard Sue has a really nice box that he uses, like same kind of wood, and then the top layers are all magnetized together, so it's like a box in the bottom that he can use for like his dice tray and or like storing stuff in, and then a couple things on the top where you can like hold all the cards and all the stuff you need immediately, and ships sit in it. And one of the layers is just your templates. So you stick that on top of the box, and then you stick the other thing on top of the templates, and it all holds together really nicely.
Right. Yeah, this one I really like because the ships like clip into the top thing. So like they don't just fall off when you're carrying them around. It all goes into one box. I don't know if I'll use the template holder. If I do, I'll probably lay all the straights flat and just use all the banks and turns in there. Maybe
the one thing I've been looking for is one of those super condensed ones, because like mine right now is a little bit bigger, but I've seen some where they manage to eliminate a lot of the unnecessary space. So they get these template holders that are only like 5-6 inches wide, so it's a lot easier at some of the really big events to fit in there.
Sure.
Because like there's some events that I go to, and they put like 6 inches between each table, and I just look at the table next to me and go, hey, do you just want to scoot our play mats like directly next to each other so we can have a full foot on the opposite side?
Right.
Like usually people go for that. It's just easier that way, I think.
Yeah, I'm just excited that in the box that I carry around, I have so much more room for activities in there because I'm not hauling around 3 jump masters. I actually have 3 small base ships.
Yeah,
I got like an ass load of room in that box now.
Yeah, I'm considering I want my regionals list to be Asajj and 2 scouts. Yeah, this thing is very appealing right now.
Oh yeah, that's way more.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had I just ripped apart one of my shuttles, the old Imperial shuttle, because I have it painted, so I don't like moving the wings because I feel like it's going to rip off the paint job.
And it
so instead of being worried about that, I just sawed off the wings, and And I magnetized them, so when I put it on the base, I can just clip the wings on, and it's ready to fly.
Right. Cool.
So that like it looks like awful right now because it's all beat up trying to get the green stuff in there to fill in all the gaps and everything and put the magnets in. But once it gets done, it'll be nice. I'll be happy, and it'll actually fit in my case.
That was a good answer, Chris. We eliminate people when they hit 35.
Last episode was his last. You notice the episode ended right after they sang happy birthday to him.
Mm-hmm. Oh
my gosh. Luke just sent me his latest mod he's doing. We won a C-Rock up in a Michigan store championship from a raffle. And he ripped it apart. He said he just took his diamond cutting saw and just right down the back half of it, ripped off all the engines. So now he's got he took 2 of the engines and put them on the back of Dash. So he's got this Outrider with these massive fucking engines. And that's his engine upgrade.
My guess was going to be a YV666, but makes sense.
Yeah, that one would work too.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 2 more. It comes with 4 engines. He can still do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think people cried a little bit at that tournament when I handed it to him and he was like, "Yep, I'm just gonna rip this into pieces and just like mod it."
I probably get more use out of it doing it that way than where it's doing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Like I get like 1 epic game in a year. So
yeah. Although I do want to play C-Rock with Ball, Zuckus, and Forlom. Sounds like fun.
Because they don't get stressed.
Exactly. So
right.
I'll re-roll all of my attack dice, and then you can re-roll all your defense dice.
I want to run mine with Jabba the Hutt and that guy, where I can give all my Z95 headhunters all the extra illicit tokens, and then just airlock his fat ass out, and then get some other crew member for the price. Keep all the illicit tokens.
Because they say you can do that now.
Yep. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Job is terrible otherwise.
Just airlock him.
Yep. Definitely trade him for Maul.
And you can do that, see?
Yeah, exactly.
Value.
Yeah. Too bad you can't trade him for Maul and Zuckus.
Sure you can. It's less than 5 points. And it's 2 crew slots.
2 crew slots, so you should be able to. If you're playing Epic and try to do that, I would allow it.
All right, we're putting it in the notes.
We're putting it in the notes.
Oh god.
What's the other crew guy name? I have no idea.
Yeah. The weird demon-headed looking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's Sakatra Vizago, but he just does he does illicit stuff.
Yeah, and he's not epic only or huge ship only, whatever it is.
Right.
Ooh, heavy laser turret. Perfect. 4 attack. 2
His name is as
Morgan.
Morgan, yeah.
Oh yeah, him.
He's the one that airlocked Jabba.
Because why not?
Energy. Oh. Well, let's see. No, I don't think he allows that.
Oh well.
So sad. Oh, whatever. I guess I answered my own question. It doesn't have to be in the show now.
Good.
What I get for reading the card.
All right, should we get started?
Well, as soon as Kyle comes back.
Oh, yeah. No. While he's gone, just do it. Like when we did the whole outro while Coach was muted.
Yeah, exactly.
That was awesome. I was like, he's gone. We can't get him back on. End it. We're done. Let's go.
Yeah.
Although it was funny because you could hear him like on the actual podcast because his Audacity was going.
Right, exactly.
So that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, that reminds me, Kyle, you should probably have your microphone closer to your face hole.
Here's the thing. I was talking to Chico about this earlier. The microphone isn't showing up as a microphone, but it's using my webcam as my microphone.
Oh, is that why it's so crappy all the time?
Yeah, like the last time I used it.
Brutal.
He said
it's true.
Chico said it sounded good. I was like, no, it doesn't.
I mean, it's okay. It's not as good as it used to be, that's for sure.
No, because I can't get the goddamn computer to acknowledge.
You should probably get the drivers for it. Would be my guess.
Is it worth waiting for tonight?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know if we need to do this right now. Because I'd like to get started. Who's doing the intro anyway? Are you doing it in Spanish?
God.
That sounded like a no.
if I have to, but...
No, you don't have to.
Well, you can just use the one that was from that one episode and put it in at the beginning.
That's no fun.
Yeah, that's no fun.
I'll do that. I'll do the intro before I'll do that. Actually, I wouldn't mind doing the intro.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Or maybe we could do one of those things where we like get in a line and each person does one word and we just rotate through.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It does, but it sounds
how awful hilarious. Would that
be? It sounds pretty damn awful. Be like a rap group like frickin' Beastie Boys.
It'd be even worse because of the lag we have here.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle, are you drinking, Kyle?
Yes. I just opened a beer.
Good. We got to have somebody doing it because I'm hopped up on medication, but we got to have somebody drinking.
Yay. Okay, so we should do snaps. And I should start Audacity.
I should start Audacity.
And waves.
I'm getting waves.
And waves. Okay, we're good.
Copycat. Come up with your own thing.
No one is.
Okay. Yep, that's recording the right microphone. Ready, set?
Mm-hmm. I am. Yeah, sure.
Okay. See if I can get it right on the first try. So nerve-wracking. Good morning, X-Wing. Hey, this is not a test. This is OCX Radio. Time to rocket from the Delta pilot to the 4BZ. Welcome to the OCX Radio podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Montana, and joining me today is Chris Chico Brown.
Hello!
And bringing up the rear, Kyle, the Sloot Stews.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you're at. Great to be back on the show.
All right. That is the last time I'm taking the lead in the podcast. Somebody else's turn.
Go, Kyle.
Go,
right.
Kyle.
So,
you have the idea for this thing. You do it.
I just figured with this new wave hitting the tables and there being a lot of confusion with a lot of things that people haven't seen the interactions to, or needed a little bit more clarification of some of the card text and what it meant and how it interacted with everything, that who better than to get the information from on how the things work and get all your questions answered than the Judge Illuminati himself, Chris Chico Brown.
There's no such thing as the Judge Illuminati. Just
obviously.
If there was, though, it would be awesome. I promise.
Well, I mean, the Illuminati are supposed to be that like eyeball on the top of the pyramid, which looks like a focus token. So
right. Well, that's basically what it is. I mean, if I bring it up here.
So if you were to pick one thing that's been plaguing,
here we go.
3x3 maps.
Can you see that? There's our logo right there.
Nice.
Definitely doesn't exist. Don't worry about it.
So if you were to say that of all the new things that you've been getting hounded on the most lately, Chico, that's been plaguing.
I mean,
what would you say would be a question that you would want to get out of the way and clear the air of?
Well, there's a dozen of them, and that's what we have show notes for, right? But yeah, I get probably at least one question, maybe two, like every day. Somebody just pings me on my phone, and like a lot of people assume like that they're bothering me, which, you know, sure, I get ones like in the middle of dinner or something, and if I don't answer you, then I'm probably busy, but I'll get back to it and answer you when I'm not busy. And it's usually not a big deal, especially if it's like during the day. That's like a welcome moment of, okay, I'll stop working for a second, answer a question, and put it back. So that's you know, it's something I like to do. So
that's good.
Don't worry about bothering me. Feel free to blast questions, and the more complicated, the better. So to jump into it, I guess I put a couple easy ones at the front. Just to like get them out of the way and get us smooth rolling into it. Cruise missile. This is one that has popped up a couple times now because you can now slam and fire a missile with the new gunboat. So people, like somebody asked me, can I do a 3 forward, slam into a 3 forward, and then what does my cruise missile get? Because I essentially moved 7. I did 2-3 maneuvers. What do I add to my cruise missile? And it's like okay, you're trying to be cute, but you only get the extra from your maneuver. Now, and it's the value of your maneuver. So even with a slam, it's either a 3 or a 3. If you did a 3 and then slammed into a 3, or if you did a 2, slammed into a 2, it's still just 2. So then people said, well, what if I was using Daredevil and I did like my 4 forward and then use Daredevil, which is a 1 maneuver, like which one do I use for cruise missile? And that's one of those situations where I just roll my eyes and say, well, that's never going to happen. Do whatever you want on the bottom tables. But really, I think just to keep it simple, and like I like to invoke Occam's razor on a lot of these things. Just the simple answer is probably the right answer. And I just like to say, you know, your actual maneuver, like your normal activation maneuver, that's what you're using for cruise missile. Nothing else. Quit trying to make it complicated or ridiculous. Like there's just no point to it. Any other thoughts on that?
You took the words right out of my mouth when you said, "Hey, if you're going to try to shoot a cruise missile with Daredevil off, if you're using Daredevil, you lost in the list building."
Like the only time I've ever seen Daredevil like used well was with Captain Oikun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, no. Just don't do it.
I used it for fun on Psycho Tycho one time.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's not a bad spot either.
But moving on to the next one, and I use this already, so I have an understanding of why it works the way that it works. Next we have on the list Genius and Trajectory Simulator. Now, everybody has the question of whether or not you're allowed to do your maneuver, then launch the bomb 5 forward. And the answer is yes.
Right. And this is one where, Trajectory Simulator says you may launch bombs instead of dropping them. And then Genius says after you reveal and execute your maneuver, you may discard one of your equipped upgrade cards with bombs to drop the corresponding bomb token. So Genius is allowing you to drop it afterwards, and now Trajectory Simulator jumps in and goes, oh, but instead of that drop, we're going to launch it. Right. So that's there. And that it just works like that. I mean, there's nothing. It doesn't seem that complicated to me. At least I don't know why some people are thoroughly arguing against it, but it's not something that's going to be super broken. You just need to know if you see somebody with Genius and Trajectory Simulator go, oh shit, I need to just realize that there's one of those moments that I don't want to be way out directly in front of him, or he's going to do this. You just gotta know what those options are when somebody's coming at you with Trajectory Simulator. But and this actually brings up another interesting question I've gotten a few times, is that you're only allowed to drop a bomb once per turn. So if you instead launch the bomb, you haven't dropped any bombs that turn. So can you then drop another bomb? Because you haven't dropped one yet this turn. And according to the rules, you can only drop one once, but you didn't drop one, you launched it. And this is one of those where like if you were like an absurdly strict rules as written person, I could definitely see how you could say that you could launch and drop a bomb like in the same round. I mean, heck, you could try to argue that you could like launch a bomb and then do your maneuver and then Genius Trajectory Simulator to launch another one. I mean, it's ridiculous. But like, there's that argument, but like, I think most of us kind of get that it's supposed to be you only get one bomb per round. That's just the way it is, because they don't want bombs to be ridiculously broken. So that's gonna like I would bet a lot of money that that's how it's gonna work. So
it feels mostly like a once per opportunity kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. But then people would say is like, oh, I have the opportunity, when I reveal to drop a bomb, and I also have the option of, after I do my maneuver is like do an action bomb. So I was like, oh, those are two different, things. So, oh well, it's like whatever. I imagine it's going to be, kind of like how they use the word bomb to be bombs, mines, and all these different things. They're just going to say drop and launch, or just like, for all intents and purposes, same damn thing.
So would you say in that instance that you were just mentioning that, let's say bomblet generator, and you had Captain Nim with Trajectory Simulator, would you say that if I reveal the maneuver, drop the bomblet, then could I launch one with Genius after that?
Well, no. And here's why on that one, because Genius says
instead, you can drop it afterwards instead, right?
Yeah, it's something like that in there. After you reveal and execute a maneuver, if you did not overlap a ship, you may discard one of your equipped upgrade cards. No, I guess it doesn't say that. So I guess if it went that way, ridiculous, then in theory you could do that, and that's just some of those things that they're just not going to let that happen. And there's other cards out there that say like have specific drop text, and I imagine they're just going to let it do both of them. But if like, who the hell knows when we're going to get another FAQ? So if you're going to an event, you might want to check with your judge on that one if that's really critical to your strategy, because that may be one of those that different judges rule it differently, given that there's no FAQ out there. Because I definitely get the argument that it's launch and you didn't drop, because like for instance, like Tel Trevera says instead of being destroyed, do this other thing. So you were never destroyed. You don't get to trigger on destroyed stuff. So in theory, you never dropped a bomb. You never triggered dropping a bomb because you did instead, let's go do something else. So I can see that argument. I'd be hard pressed to allow it. But
even if they were to allow it, it's going to get FAQ'd because they made K-Wings unable to drop 2 bombs in the same round.
Right.
They did that on purpose because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be an obnoxious one to have.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
All right, so on to the next question. Can you equip the Phantom title on your Sheathipede just so you can have an extra card for Chopper to get rid of if you're not going to have the Ghost on the board? And the answer here is no, because if you look on the Phantom title, it's not a 0-point upgrade. It's got the little dash in there, which basically means there's special rules for equipping this. You can't equip it as normal. And that is the Ghost title says to equip the Phantom title. So you
have to take the Ghost title in order to take the Phantom title.
Right. So yeah, that was one that somebody asked me. They just wanted to have one of those Chopper builds and like, let's see how many health that I can get back. Which, first of all, I don't think that Chopper is going to be spectacular. There's just.
But Chris, my regen.
There are so many better options for regen instead of burning your actions and burning your upgrades to do it.
Because we found out that Gonk worked real well. Chopper's going to do the same.
Right, and even with Gonk, with how you can do double tap on actions to get a shield back right away kind of thing. It's like. And he's still not a thing. It's like I've seen Gonk used like 2-3 times in like really high level X-Wing. It's just no, quit worrying about it. But if you want to, go for it. Have some fun.
You can't say that Gonk wasn't good because he was in the world winning list for 2016.
Was he?
Manaroo had it, yeah.
Okay.
Shock and awe, silence. Yeah, Manaroo had pushed the limit. That was the FP8.
Was that a Dengaroo build?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Gonk was never used.
I've definitely seen Gonk used well in some Dengaroo builds. I mean, I had to play against somebody using it, and he just cranked up tokens while he waited for me to get in range, and then started doing the usual Manaroo stuff. But by the time I finally went after Manaroo, I was like, crap, I have to get half damage, and he's sitting there just regenning, keeping himself above half damage. That was brutal. But yeah, I don't see Gonk making a comeback.
No, probably not.
Okay, so next one. Ending up with multiple weapons disabled tokens. This is a situation where, like, if you had a gunboat that slammed, and then you had advanced slam, and you reloaded with it, you could end up with, multiple weapons disabled tokens. But if you have the one title that lets you fire a missile at somebody that you have target locked anyways, regardless of your weapon's disabled token, even if you have more than one, you're still fine. Because somebody was saying that the card says if you have a weapons disabled token. Now, most of the times when they use a, it means if you have at least one, this thing happens. So it's like there's a lot of like in software engineering, which is what I do. You often have to look at 3 different cases for things. It's whether you have 0 of something, 1 of something, or many of something, and that's one of those cases like this of they're lumping 1 and many all into the same bracket of these cases are this. So it's kind of a binary. You either have 0 or you at least have 1. So I don't think it's something to really worry about. But there's the answer if anybody was wondering. You can have multiple weapons disabled tokens, and yes, both of them go away at the end of the round. So not a huge deal.
Same as Ion. They're all clear.
Mm-hmm.
Very good information to have.
Mm-hmm.
First Order Vanguard and Zuckuss.
Yeah,
Dun,
so
dun,
here's
dun.
our first super
yeah.
big one, and I imagine our chat's gonna light up a little bit because Nick Bond is on the chat and he's been arguing this all day with people. So this one's interesting because the situation is the First Order Vanguard, and let me get the exact wording on here. It's specifically the second half. It says, when defending, you may discard this card to reroll all of your defense dice. So, what if you've had 1 or more of the dice already re-rolled by like Zuckuss or something else? Can you still use the First Order Vanguard or not? Because it specifically says re-roll all of your defense dice, and there's 2 arguments on this. What was that?
I would say no personally. A die that's been re-rolled can't be re-rolled again, and attacker modifies first.
Yeah, there's 3 options here. So there's the first one of you completely break the rules and you re-roll all of them regardless of if the other ones have been re-rolled or not. And that one is it's not going to happen. There's that basic rule of you can't re-roll a die that's already been re-rolled. And I don't see them, changing that up. So we've kind of discarded that one. And then there's so number 2 is it works just like Han Solo, like the original Han Solo, where you re-roll all of your dice, as many as possible. Now, a lot of people are saying the words "as many as possible" aren't on that card, and I would say, you're right, but look at that card. There's a lot of text on there. They probably just couldn't fit it. So they didn't put as many as possible on there, which really kind of screws that up. And
I mean, Han would still work the way he does if he didn't have that as many as possible on his card.
Would it though?
Because you can't re-roll dice more than once. That overrides your cans.
So the other option, and option number 3 on here, which Brent Wong, I've been doing a lot of talking with him over this, and he's very much in this camp of if you can't satisfy being able to roll all of them, then you can't do First Order Vanguard at all.
That's interesting.
So this is one where, and this was on Minoc, because all of a sudden I got a Facebook message from Ryan Farmer saying, "Hey Chico, how does this interaction work?" And I just looked at it and like gut reaction, I was like, it's just going to work the same as Han Solo. They just worded it really poorly. And I didn't realize that he was like live on the air, like doing stuff with that. So he was like, okay, Chico said this. And like, oh shit. So,
yeah.
So like personally, I think it should work exactly like Han Solo, but that's very much a rules as intended kind of ruling.
Right.
And like, I can see the argument that Brent has where, rules is written, there's that all there. Now, there's a lot of arguments back and forth about, like precedents on other things, and I haven't gone through all of it. So this one could go either way, and this is one that, again, I would definitely recommend, contacting your judge ahead of time,
right,
to find out.
Another thing too, like let's say they Zuckus your evades. You discard a card for 2 points to give you 1 ability to reroll all of your defense dice. I guess it doesn't really bug me either way. You know what I mean?
Right. I completely agree with that, because I don't see that, like, I see this as a big argument over something that isn't going to happen frequently, because first of all, you have to come up against somebody that, that interaction is going to happen. And then you have the situation where you're getting shot and they're Zuckusing it. And after the Zuckus was all done, you still want to re-roll everything. And whether it's like say you rolled 3 evades, 3 evade dice, and you got like an evade, focus, and a blank, 1 of each, and they make you re-roll the 2. Now, would you really choose to burn that card to be able to re-roll the 1 result that's left? That's
depends on,
like,
if
right.
you need that
it's
last evade to live, then obviously.
Yeah, it's extremely situational. But so I don't know how often it's going to come up. It's like when you start getting those cards where it's like this specific combo in this specific situation, and it's like less and less likely. And this is almost where like Wade Pache will say, I'm not answering that until it happens, because he wants time to just sit there and think about it forever.
Right.
But then that that drives players nuts. So
yeah.
But yeah, this is one that we're definitely torn on. Of the guys that I discuss rules with, like Brent is the only one that I know who's extremely hardcore in the camp of he thinks it shouldn't work. Like it's an all or nothing.
Right.
The rest of us are leaning more towards the rules as intended.
Right.
But then it's hard to really know what they intended. But that's the direction I'm leaning, because Han Solo was that way. They weren't that mean with Han Solo.
Right.
I wouldn't expect them to be that mean with, getting rid of your title. Forcing it to be an all or nothing is like, you can't use this thing because somebody made you reroll 1 die. So you could effectively make somebody's card completely worthless by just forcing him to reroll 1 die. And that just seems like too ridiculous to me. And
Yep.
I accept the other camp, that whole idea. Like the argument makes sense. Like I get that. I just can't wrap my head around that being like the real final ruling.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder what people are saying. I've been completely ignoring the live chat over here.
They're not really saying anything except for the fact it wasn't worth 100+ post debate.
that is very, very true. And that's the one I was saying. It was like 150 something responses, and I was like, nope, I'm not even reading that. It's like that is just too much. It's like somewhere the rabbit hole went wrong on that one, and like I'm not getting into that. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion on both sides of how it should go.
And let's move on now to one of the ships that I really am excited about, but not really too excited about how some people are ruling his ability. And we're talking about Kulda in the Kimogia, about how you're able to spend 0 tokens to not have to worry about suffering a damage. I don't think that's the correct way of looking at it, but Chico, you can elaborate on it a little bit more.
Right. This is the if you catch somebody, like when you attack, everybody who's in the firing arc, the bullseye firing arc is like everybody. If there's like 3 ships, isn't it? I think that's what it says. Suppose I ought to.
Each enemy ship inside your bullseye firing arc at range 1 to 3 must choose to suffer 1 damage or remove all of its focused and evade tokens.
Right, which all includes 0. So, this is one that that really gets some people heated, because because it's like I've seen people say show it to me, show me you discarding 0 tokens. It's like I just did. See, I did it again. Like this is me discarding 0 tokens over and over and over again. You know, and it's a really weird one, but FFG has already stated if you don't have any, it still counts as all, because like even if you read like the rules reference for the end phase, it says discard all focus and evade tokens from each ship. If you don't have any, does the game just break right there and you just can't play anymore? No, that's not how it works. So yeah, you can get rid of 0. So so there's been people saying it's like, oh, this is just worthless then. It's like, no, it's forcing your opponent to choose. It's like, do I want to keep my token stack for a damage or end up with nothing?
So then her ability is not worth anything at all if they don't have any tokens. Essentially. Right,
and there's a lot of people, and this is only focus and evade. So if you're going against somebody that like is target lock heavy,
right.
or if you're going against Dengar that's got K4 security droid and expertise, he just laughs at that. Like, no, I don't need either of these things. It's like I'll just barrel roll all day. So yeah, I mean, with all of the cards out there that give you modifications outside of standard focus and evade, it's not a huge deal. But
that's another.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Montana. You don't talk that much, and you haven't been on the show for a while.
So.
Valid. So I would say that what you're saying is correct. That this is how it should be ruled. But I'm also going to say that it's going to get fact to not be that way.
I thoroughly disagree. I would bet all of my coconut monkey dollars on it.
I want them coconut monkey dollars.
What can I buy with those?
You can make more bets involving coconut monkey dollars. That's what it is. But yeah, this is definitely how it's going to be. FFG has always stated 0 is included in all, and I don't see them suddenly going back on that.
But I don't think they wanted it to work like
they're not. Yeah, I'm going to have to say that I agree with Montana on this one. They did not want it to work this way. They wanted you to benefit greatly from getting ships inside that bullseye firing arc. That's why they created it, and to have you get nothing as a result of having it is kind of a stupid thing to have, especially like with what you were saying before. If they have a token stack, they have to make the decision of discarding it or suffering 1 damage. Okay, yeah, I understand that. But why even have the second part on it to not have any tokens to discard? Is it forcing your opponent to go, well, I better take a focus token to discard it. That way I don't have to worry about taking a damage?
Right.
Seems way too situational. I know they didn't mean to make it that way, but that's the way the card's written. But then again, we're going to make a flip of a coin judgment call on the Vanguard title on rules and intended. And I don't know. I can get pretty heated about this one because, I mean...
Well, and if you look on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you allow it to be free damage, then it really opens up for some crazy possibilities where you can like lock ships in a scrum, bring them in from the side, and you're just blasting like 3+ ships for free damage over and over and over because they're bumping and can't get that. Or like somebody else brought up, you set up this guy with snapshot, and that's instant free damage, and that is right. And like or you do snapshot and the wrecked droid, and then you fly your own ship in front of you, and so that you can blast off of that as well. Right, and that's way too many options of just completely free, no way to get around it damage, and that's another thing that FFG is trying to push away from.
It's a bullseye firing arc in a really unmaneuverable ship. It doesn't happen all that often, but
I feel like this mechanic is too hard to abuse.
Yeah,
for it to get rolled that way.
Oh, you use that with a couple things with Tactician, stress the shit out of them, and then just wander around getting free damage all day long. Like, man, like I don't see them allowing that as a real thing. It just seems crazy to me. Like
I don't know.
I understand you scum players want it to be a thing because it sounds really cool and really brutal.
But doesn't it sound like scum? You fly your own ship in there, you snapshot it because you can, and it sounds amazing. But no, I don't know. The one free damage with all the new ships coming out that have way more increasing amount of hard points. I don't know. You have ships coming out with small bases that have what's the most on a small base ship right now for hull and
8
shields?
9. K-Wing is 9.
Oh, 9. Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
more than that.
The Scourge has 10, isn't it? 5 and 5.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, Scourge has 10.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
yeah,
and it's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm. And a couple extra little things on this. If somebody has the Moldy Crow, it's gone. Comm Relay, those tokens are gone. Now, the Ray Crew card, that's an interesting one, because is that actually on the ship? I don't think you count it as that.
Well, you can't use the shield tokens on Gonk to cancel out uncanceled damage.
Right.
So, I mean, it would be about the same there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, and if you look at the end of the Ray card, it says at the start of the combat phase, you may assign one of those tokens to your ship. So when it's on Ray, it's unassigned. It's just a token on Ray. So
right.
I would say that Ray doesn't get rid of stuff.
But could they discard the focus token on Ray to prevent the damage?
No.
You don't have to, because 0 is a number. I feel your pain. You still want it to be a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Okay, shall we move on? Or you want to rage out some more?
No, I got to go get another beer.
No.
Time for another beer song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we actually taking a break?
I guess so. Break time.
Huh? Okay, break time. Okay. Yay, break time. I could actually refill my water. I feel surprisingly sober in this episode. It's weird. Man, I just walked out into my living room, and my wife is dressed as a cow. I don't know why.
Well, she wanted $20 earlier. What do you think she was going to do with that $20 dressed like a cow?
I don't know. I just don't know. She has some like pajamas that are like cow pajamas, but I don't know how they can be comfortable because like they actually have udders on them. But whatever. It's like I don't understand.
Milk those teats.
Oh, and somebody just said that we're sober enough that his kids can watch, and then we had that conversation. Whoops.
Oh yeah, wrong timing.
What am I missing?
I didn't want to start the beer drinking too early because I've been working a lot of hours at work lately because it's that end of the year, got to meet the quota thing.
Yeah, we got that too.
So it's kind of like I'm just laying on the couch like, oh my God, I'm so tired mentally and physically.
We have the whole end of the year rush, but if we get everything done, we get like 4 days off paid.
More vacation for Montana.
Yep.
He gets like 3 days off in the middle of the week every week. He works Mondays and half a Friday.
Nice.
No, that's not even sort of true.
Wait, one of the guys on my team just put out an email today saying I'm going to be on vacation tomorrow and every other day for the rest of the year. Like, oh my God. Well, like he's been with the company probably 30 years.
It's like massa.
So he just has an insane amount of vacation. So he's like, yeah, December. I don't work in December.
Yeah,
it must be nice.
I would like to take the month of December off, only if it was cold enough to go ice fishing.
Yeah. Well, how many months did Massa take off in a row? Wasn't it like 2 months every year?
It was like two. It was a little over 2 months to go home every year.
Yeah, man.
Jesus, that's a sabbatical right there.
Yeah, but that's like every year. Like they just planned on having her gone for 2 whole months. Oh, it's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Well, I don't even know how.
Teacher.
What did she say on the intercom every single time?
I don't remember.
Chico.
Oh yeah.
Chico, please come to work center. Oh, she had such a thick accent. It's so funny. She was such a cute little lady too, though.
Whatever perfume she bathed in every morning, that was horrific. I had times when she was working on the machine next to me, I'd literally point my fan at her to blow all the smell that way.
It looked like he literally just got done smoking like 80 bowls of pot when he came back to work. His eyes are irritated.
Yeah.
Face is inflamed. Oh shit. That's funny.
I still say break Tom every time I work.
Break Tom.
Break Tom.
Yeah, did I tell you that I worked with Shorty's sister-in-law?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, Fong's sister works at Quattro, and she makes the fried rice that Boone did, and
Nice.
oh my God, it's funny. Her name's Fian, and I talk to her in Lao all the time, and she has no idea what I'm saying. Like somewhere between her brother being Un from the Maze Axe to her, she just didn't care to pick up the language.
Sure. So she's Un's sister?
Yes. So it's
Is she
Shorty's.
short?
Shorty, yes.
Of course she is. Well, I think we're boring Chico.
Yeah, I think we are too.
Whatever.
But he doesn't.
Your thing.
But he doesn't. He doesn't sit in the background quietly and listen to other people talk very often. So it's kind of a no. It's just weird Montana being on and taking a break and talking about stuff. But yeah, I got a ice shack now, Montana. So if you do come back,
Yeah, you told me that.
we
Or
can
you
go ice
mentioned it.
fishing. Yeah, I got
Your
a
uncle
truck and
gave it to
everything.
you? Yeah.
Yep, he did.
Yep.
You gonna hold an X-wing tournament in the ice shack?
There's enough room there. There's definitely enough room.
For one table, right?
Yeah.
How many dice can you lose down the fishing hole?
Oh, plenty. I've dropped a lot of shit down to the bottom of Spirit Lake.
Man. That makes me think of the time we went camping.
Oh,
and
God.
You wanted to get me to play X-Wing, and I was like, I don't think so. I totally should have played.
Yeah. I had all the stuff there because I was dicking around with it. And you're like, let's play a game of chess. I'm like, but X-Wing is like chess, but better.
Right. Like Star Wars chess.
Totally should have played X-Wing.
I eventually got you to succumb.
That's true. Well, you got me to come and watch a game, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm. That usually does it.
Well, it's like Montana said in one of the earlier episodes. The reason why it was so fun for us is because we have a really good, like, judgment of like depth and stuff because we work in machining. So like we can look at something and go, oh yeah, that's like 8 thou oversized just by feeling it and looking at it compared to other things. And so you got good spatial recognition and stuff. So when you're able to put the ships down with the maneuver templates, you're able to go, I know where this is going to go, and just plop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's one of like the biggest skills that a lot of newer players don't get is being able to just eyeball maneuvers and know exactly where they're going to land. It's one of the things that I tell people is like when you're learning, it's like one, just take like a countertop, throw a whole bunch of asteroids all over it, and just sit there and do figure eights in and out of the asteroids. Just see how close you can get to them, and without hitting them. And then also like even me a day or two before a tournament, I'll take a ship and another ship that's the same base and put a maneuver template between the two of them and just kind of look at it, eyeball like, okay, if I draw a diagonal through the nubs here, what does it touch, or like corner to corner, and just try to see what information I can use to know exactly where something's going to land. And like how long those are, like the hard turns are always like a base length and a half kind of thing, trying to judge those distances of how far diagonal you're going to go. And like, it really helps. And like, I've had some times where I go and flip a dial and they're like, oh, I think you're going to bump there. And I'm be like, nope, bet I'm not. It's like, I'm completely okay. Boom. It's like, just because I've stared at that maneuver for this very reason way too many times. Like the Jumpmaster 2 sloop, how many times I tried to figure out exactly like where I could be bumped like nose to nose with a large base ship and still make that sloop out to the other side of it.
Right.
Just because I had that happen so many times, I was like, okay, I need to know exactly like where it's going to make it and when it's not.
I've got one more thing to say, and then we'll come back from our little let's get another beer break. Interestingly enough, if you would have played X-Wing on that camping trip with me, Montana,
Yeah.
You and Chicago's first game of X-Wing with me would have been during camping. Because I got Chicago hooked on playing X-Wing while we were at the walleye opener, and we were up there for 3 days. And we were playing inside the camper, and the one night we were having so much fun that we got a little bit too drunk and didn't get out fishing until like 3 p.m. the next day playing X-Wing.
Yeah.
So,
and I remember him being so mad about Luke's ability.
yeah. Well, like, because he got into it.
Yeah, Luke's so broken.
He was so broken because I was playing. What was he? He was using Karner Jax, and I had R2D2 on Luke, and we were just jousting, going forward, K-turning, going forward, K-turning, and he was upset like 5 turns after that I blew his 3-hull ship up, and I could regen a shield, and he wasn't killing him. I'm like, that was way back in the day.
Yeah, probably didn't have push the limit on old Karner.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right. So where'd we leave off here?
We argued about Tarani Calda.
Yep.
All right. So now we're at Crimson Specialist. All right.
Yeah, just a couple easy ones now, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, arguing about active might get interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Dallin is just initiative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Stop rooting content.
Only for the live YouTube people.
Right.
That's not what they're here for anyway.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, from that really cool version of the OCX theme song with beer drinking involved and people going to give it to you.
That's a wonderful song.
I know.
I do like that song.
God. I want that to be my ringtone on the phone. That way people can be looking around like, what in the hell?
You know, that's not actually that hard to do. I can do that for you.
So more supreme advice from Chico and debating on new rulings. We're going to start with Crimson Specialist. And the reason why there's a lot of confusion with this guy is because it says place the token anywhere touching your base.
So I can put it under my base, right?
That's correct.
Like that's one of those where like, what are you defining as touching? Because like X-Wing uses the word touching, but only as a result from overlapping. And with a bomb, you're not overlapping and then moving it out to the point of touching. So you can't really use that definition. But then do you just use the regular use of the word touching, and then you could have it like against or under it, like a little overlapped, or you're some people say you completely throw it underneath. But if you completely throw it underneath, then it's not touching anything. But does that count? It's like, so this is one of those where we just kind of went with the simplest answer is probably the right one. Where like if you look at a ship that's touching another ship, like how is it sitting? It's up against the base. So that's kind of how we're ruling it, and that's if you go to a big event, that's probably how it's going to be. I feel like it should be allowed to be like overlapped or underneath, just because I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's not going to break the game having it in there, but I doubt that's how it's going to be. You just slide it up against the side and be done with it.
Yeah. Who's going to wait for your opponent to mark their ship so they can slide the bomb underneath it and then measure from the bomb underneath the marked ship to see if the stuff blows up?
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
Sounds like a goddamn fiasco.
Well, that could happen anyway if you run into somebody and then decide to place it directly in front of you, then it would still end up under a ship base.
Another thing that I'm waiting for the argument of is, what if you're playing against somebody, with Crimson Specialist, decides to drop a bomb, sticks it over on one side, and then eyeballs it and goes, "Oh crap, that's not going to be in range one of that guy," and then decides to go and put it over on the other side. It's do you have to declare exactly where you want it to be touching?
That's a good one, because it's like a barrel roll where you can just go, I'm going to barrel roll right, and then you can slide it back and forth to figure out where you want to be and fit it. Yeah, that's a very good point. You could just kind of take the thing and scoot it all around the entire square of your base and go, yeah, right there.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of how it is, right now. Is I see it as kind of like a chess piece. Once you take your finger off, you're done.
Right.
But feel free to sit there and.
So can you use the nubs? Let's say I wanted to put it on the nub. I wanted to put the corner of the bomb on the nub
of the bomb on the nub of your base to scoot it out just a teeny bit further.
Yeah, it's touching the ship. That's part of the ship base. It's touching it.
And you can deploy it in the diamond shape, so you can have just the corner of the bomb touching the base.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent. Just wanted to get that cleared up for the people in chat.
Yeah, it's weird, but they do it. So next one. This is Dalen, the Kimogila, where he can get a target lock, hit somebody in the bullseye arc at the beginning of combat, and then what if you're dealing with countermeasures? Countermeasures is also at the beginning of combat. So who gets the target lock? Who gets to discard the target lock? That's one that's fairly simple. You just go initiative based. So there's a lot more of these abilities that are coming out that are dealing with initiative. So that's something that you really got to pay attention to. It's no longer just pilot skill. It's some of these interactions that a lot of people gotta worry about these other things. I'm going to be in a tournament this weekend where I'm going to have harpoon missiles and TLT. I may give initiative to my opponent so I can trigger harpooned with my TLT crits.
See, it is big. Just some clarification to some people down there at Sparta. They were asking if that critical hits and TLTs worked, and I said, from what I'm hearing, initiative matters, but yes.
Right. It's one of those weird situations where they both have the same trigger, so you kind of got to go down by initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that was another thing that I just wanted to point out to some people out there with all the time walk assages out there. If you give them initiative and they're the ones that have the burden of popping countermeasures, they cannot wait for you to take your free target lock, then decide to pop countermeasures. If they allow you to take your target lock token, you, by all rights, can tell them they're not allowed to pop their countermeasures because they missed their opportunity.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good way to go. Target lock, real fast.
Yeah.
No.
Aw.
You just have to scare them
the opportunity. Right, and that's one of those things that you see different people doing different ways of going about that, and that's where, not to go on a crazy tangent, so yell at me if this goes too long. The whole fly casual thing and what it means to different people is for me, I see those situations sometimes where people will go through and they know the different steps that things will trigger in my list and theirs, and they call those things out. That like they say, okay, any beginning of combat triggers, when they know full well that I have one, and they're just calling it out because they know, you know, let's make sure that opportunity is there. It's like, I'm not going to remind you of your trigger, but I'm going to remind you of this step, and you know, maybe you'll remember your trigger in that step.
That's a nice, polite way of doing it.
Yeah. So
for me,
those people are really nice.
For me in this situation,
hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah. For me in this situation, if I'm playing somebody who's got countermeasures and I gave them initiative, I'm gonna look right at them, be like, "Here's your opportunity to pop countermeasures. I know you're thinking that I'm gonna allow you to wait for me to take my target lock so you can pop your countermeasures, but you pop it now without the target lock, I still get the target lock. So I'll just look at them and give it to them straight." Because
yeah, I don't know if I'm that nice. I would say I would rather tell them then than get into the argument with them after they try to remove my target lock. I guess that depends on the tournament I'm at.
Yeah.
If this is casual, sure, fine. But if it's like regional, I'm going to tell them the step, and I will give them full opportunity to use their own list. Like,
but don't you think at that point in time where your Dallin's target lock being acquired is going to remind them that they want to pop countermeasures, and then you don't think you're going to go
too bad?
Yeah, but then you start that.
They should have their own list.
You got to give them the moment.
Yep, give them the moment.
But
you look them in the eye and you go,
like I like doing it by asking rhetorical sounding questions. So I'll be like, oh, so we're ready for the start of the combat phase? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay, so does this person fire first? And they're like, yes, go ahead. And I'm like, boom, now we're at that point. Like, so like I say those things trying to get them to figure out is like, okay, I want to go to this point.
Casual mind fucking.
Yeah, it's like, I want to go to this point in the game. Are you prepared to go to that point in the game?
Right.
And you know, sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. Like, oh.
Yeah, if you give them fair chance, I don't feel any guilt about leveraging that at all.
Yeah.
They had fair chance.
I agree. So, speaking of stuff like that, I'll try to stretch this out a little bit because Kyle's not here, and I know Kyle wanted to discuss this. Kyle!
Edit point, I guess.
Yeah. Oh God, did we ever do snaps?
We didn't. That's all right.
Can we like do snaps at the end and then you just line them all up from there?
Yes. You know what? Actually, that might be way better. If we do 1, 2, 3 snap and stop immediately, that would be super easy to line everything up.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Well, maybe not super easy. It'll be easy to find the snaps anyway.
Well, you just do it all in Audacity, right?
Yeah, the problem with Audacity, the way you line things up, maybe I should look at how I'm doing that, if I'm doing that the right way. But the way you line things up is not easy when you're changing something from the very beginning to edit something at the very end, right?
You remember how in the beginning you said that we were going to do snaps, and then I was waiting around to do snaps, and you just went right into the intro?
Yep.
That totally happened.
We were just talking about that.
Yes, we were. We decided to do snaps at the end. It doesn't really matter when.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, so next is Threat Tracker, and this is one that some people have been discussing and arguing about because it is triggered by an active player or active ship in the combat phase. It actually says when an enemy ship inside your firing arc at range 1 to 2 becomes the active ship during the combat phase, you may spend a target lock to do a free boost or barrel roll, basically. Mm-hmm. So this is one where when does somebody become active? And can they option to not become active to prevent you from doing this? And frankly, I think no. Every ship becomes active, but then you have the choice what you want to do with them when they become active. Whether you want to fire with them or not, whether they can fire or not. It's like even somebody with a weapons disabled token or somebody who's sitting on an asteroid still activates, and you go, this person activates. They can't do anything. Move on. So Threat Tracker still gets the option to happen. And then this also brings up a whole nother can of worms is the, well, if somebody forgets to fire, well, if you've been playing where if somebody forgets to fire, they just screwed up and they forget to fire and they don't get to, then you've been playing wrong. Because activating a ship is a mandatory thing. It has to happen. So if somebody forgot to fire, then both of you screwed up and screwed up the board state. And in theory, you should rewind to that point. And if it's not, absurdly complicated, and do it. It's just like Rebel Captive. You can't just decide to forget Rebel Captive. And frankly, if you allow somebody to forget Rebel Captive, you're cheating because you're allowing the board state to get screwed up. It's like, don't be sitting there thinking, I got away with something. Like, no, you're not doing something that's mandatory. That's kind of the definition of cheating. Any thoughts on that, Kyle? I know you had some comments earlier.
Oh, go ahead, Montana.
Sorry. What if you activate a ship and then get totally sidetracked and don't fire? Is that then a missed opportunity?
Well, if this guy's turned you already declared that this ship is activating, and then somehow magically you have a Dory complex and just instantly forget that you activated, or like you activate somebody, they go and do Threat Tracker, and then you forget to go back and shoot.
Right.
Well, because shooting is optional within your activation, that can be missed. But if you remember to forcibly activate each ship, you're going to be hard pressed to get somebody to forget to fire.
No, I'm trying to think now what my question was. So I have a couple of questions that aren't on here, and I know you hate being through this, but I just remembered them now.
Go for it.
One of the ones was, let's say you take Scum Nim's ability of getting that extra agility dice if you're obstructed by a bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, add evade result.
Add an evade result. Yeah, my bad on not knowing what that said because I've never had it triggered. But let's say that now that you have Trajectory Simulator, you launch a bomb forward. And this is just me thinking. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but you have the bomblet token in front of Nim, and let's say Quick Draws in front of the bomblet token, and there's two other ships that need to be measured to see if it blows up. Do you measure to all of them, take the token off, and know that it triggers for all those ships? Or do you leave that bomb on there, detonate it for Quick Draw, detonate it for the other two, and then remove it?
I don't think it matters.
It does, because if you blow it up and it blows up Quick Draw and he gets to fire back, is the bomb token still there for Nim to get his evade?
That's what I'm asking.
And the answer is yes. The bomb token is removed as the last portion of the bomb detonating step.
Oh, so you were talking about out of phase. So like attacks happening out of the combat phase, right?
Right, basically.
Gotcha.
And yeah, we had that come up. I forget when, and I had a good example in my head, and I just lost it now. Oh, for Sabine, because since those tokens don't come off until the end, you can wait and see everything that happens, and then Sabine at the end.
So if a bomb blows off a shield off of quick draw shoots and kills the ship that has Sabine, does Sabine not happen because the bomb token is still on the table?
Well, because Sabine's not there anymore. So,
right.
Yeah. That would be a real edge case.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, those are the questions I get sometimes. Oh, and to kind of swing it back to that discussion of mandatory versus optional things, that Captain Nim evade is an optional evade. Now, there are some other things. Yeah, you may add. But if you look at the title for the
for Protectorate?
Yeah. Protectorate. It's a fun word to spell. So that one, it says add one evade result. That's not optional. You have to add that evade result. So if you're coming up against something that has Gunner and you want to take that 1 damage to not trigger Gunner, right, you can't do that by opting to not do the Concord Protectorate. This is a conversation that I was having with Chris Allen. He's been trying to compile a giant list of mandatory effects, so that he can remember them, because there's a lot of effects out there that are in theory mandatory, because they don't say may, but they're effects that we all just kind of don't really pay attention to, like Sabine. Sabine is a mandatory effect. It doesn't say may, but then because it's mandatory, do you force it to happen on the first bomb exploding of the round, or can you say, oh, this is mandatory, but I'm going to do it later? It's a really weird one, and just everybody plays it as not a mandatory thing. It's optional. Do it when you want to. Everybody plays it that way, but that's kind of wrong. But we're all playing it that way, so who cares, right?
Yeah. Another weird edge
one.
case that I always have to think about is push the limit. It has to be, your second action has to be in your action bar, so you can't boost towards an asteroid and then use seismic torpedoes because now you're in range 2, or you can't use push the limit for Gonk.
That's one of those. That's one of those situations where I've seen somebody do an action on their action bar and then try to do one off of their action bar, and they're like, "Oh crap, I did that in the wrong order." And it is incredibly simple to say, "Oh, of course I would have done that in that opposite order," but there are a lot of players, and I would be hard pressed to not stick them to it, as well, saying, you did your first action, you're on to your second action. Sorry, I'm not reversing. But man, if I was playing in a casual game, it's oh yeah, of course you would have done it that way. Reverse, sure.
Yeah.
One of those weird situations of the competitive mindset is ha, I caught you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that we've pretty much covered a lot of the things that have come up on the tables so far in this episode.
Oh, and Nick Bond in the chat said that was another one that came up. Reinforce just says add an evade. It's not optional. You have to add the evade from reinforce. So that's another one in there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just one of those things that I don't think anybody ever really thinks about. But if you came down to a situation where your opponent was like, I'm not going to add that evade because I want this to happen, you'd be like, nope, you kind of have to.
So let's take a look at the old notes here and go down the line and see if we need
bare bone notes here.
Sorry.
Hey, they're good enough. They're good enough.
Any live questions from the live chat?
Ooh.
We've run out of things to talk about. Coach isn't here.
Yeah. Man, did we get through things quick.
Well, it still took us over an hour, so.
But you know what the messed up part about it is?
But not
80% of it was content.
Yeah.
And the other 20% is going to get edited out, so it's going to sound like 100% content.
Exactly. This is going to be like our least downloaded episode ever.
Right. Our listeners are going to hate this episode.
Hey, shall we go into the other topic, or have we done enough? Do we want to wrap things up?
I'm good either way. We are an hour and 12 in, which is probably about an hour and 5 minutes or so of actual stuff to put in a podcast. That's probably enough. It seems a little lame that we basically did one topic. But there's a lot to it. There's definitely a lot to it.
Too much content. This episode will be like TCX, but an hour long. Oh, God.
We could probably, talk for like 15, 20 minutes of just exciting stuff that we've started playing since the new ships came out.
Oh, yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that.
Just a quick rundown kind of thing.
I've definitely played games since the new ships came out.
You haven't?
Correct.
Oh,
mine showed up today, and the first thing I did was I ripped open my Chemo Gila. Not because I wanted that Chemo Gila, but because the second thing I did was rip open my silencer, pull the model out, toss it in the Chemo Gila package, shake it around, and go, oh, look at all the room in here for activities. Yeah, it fits. It fits, people. Can we get off that now?
You're the one bringing it up, man.
Yeah, it didn't need to go in a box. Chico says so.
And the sad thing is, I was completely okay with it being in a box. Just give me the value of a ship being in the box for that. Like,
there a lot of
one way or another.
Well, it is bigger than an IG. We already did that comparison.
Longer. It's longer. It's not wider,
right.
and it's about the same like length as a K-wing is wide, right?
Right.
What about the mass? What is the mass of a silencer versus the mass of an IG? That's the important thing. Somebody was arguing today that the ship is actually bigger than it's supposed to be, based on the 1/270 ratio that it's supposed to be. Right.
Yeah.
Like it should have been significantly smaller and would have fit in that package easier anyways.
We found out when we were playing, Coach and I can't remember what it was that I had out there, but like it literally hugged the whole ship. Like the wings went in and it just sucked the ship inside of it. It looked like the TIE silencer was giving my ship a hug.
That's funny.
So it is pretty decent size. I don't know. After I've seen the ship and I compared it to the actual IG, I really don't care. I'm only buying one. What the hell? I don't have to buy two of them like the Brobots. So whatever. Just be happy.
Although I'm going to a tournament this weekend where like the top winner and possibly more based on attendance can win ships. I'm tempted to just get a silencer as the ship if I win it, and then I can give it to somebody for like $10 and be like, there, you got the cheapest silencer in existence. Make them feel better so they don't have to. Yeah, I've been really excited about the. I'm gonna run a gunboat. I don't think any of my local people listen to this thing, so I'll spoil it. I'm running a PS10 quick draw. Just decided to go for adaptability instead of veteran instincts because I'm not too worried about PS11 NIMS, and that's all I think I would be worried about.
You mean PS10 NIMS? NIM cannot be PS11. That's
I
truly
thought he was a
horrifying.
PS9.
Sure
No.
can.
Oh,
PS8.
it's 8 and goes to 10. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll just match them, and I'm running at 100 points.
So
whatever.
You get the test pilot skirt title, and then you can give him adaptability and veteran instincts.
Hurting my brain.
Yeah, so I'm running quick draw with the homing missile, or not homing missile, harpoon missile package basically, and then I'm running.
Homing. Nobody runs homing anymore.
I'm not doing homing. No, nobody. And then I'm running Lieutenant Kestel, the TLT, where you can spend a focus to get rid of all of their non-evade results with TLT and Predator, and then I've got a gunboat that's got the HLC linked combo. So I'm gonna do that.
Pilot skill 5 one, right?
Yeah, the pilot skill 5 guy, and he's also got adaptability, so I can push him up to a 6 if I want to go above all the other gunboats. And he's just gonna just slam around and shoot people with HLC. Should be fun.
What do you have for an APT on him?
Adaptability.
Okay, so you make him a 6.
Yeah, it was either that or putting like a score to settle on him.
For HLC, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Help trigger the harpoon even more.
So then I could have one reroll and a focus, even after spending my action to slam. So
Correct.
There's some thought in there, but I don't know if I want to deal with that because I feel like I'll end up going against, like 2 ship builds, and then they'll just focus down the gunboat anyways. So
here's a little tip for you, Chico. They're gonna focus down the gunboat anyway.
Well, because it's the new fancy thing. It's like you have
to. Yeah, and it's got 9 points of upgrades on it. It only has 2 agility. They're gonna shoot at it regardless.
Well, my 2 is my highest agility in that list, which is weird for an Imperial list.
So, yeah, right now I came out to 93. Did you have like fire control and lightweight frame on quick draw?
Oh, for quick draw, I have fire control systems, but I don't have lightweight frame. I have guidance chips to make the harpoon missile hit a little harder. I've tried out the defensive quick draw, and it just does not fit my style. I'm more throw them in there, slam as much damage into them as I can, and hopefully pull aggro enough that my other ships can get in there and do something. So like more defense in having a powerful offense. Is like I just had in practice yesterday that somebody had a great shot on quick draw, but if he did, I would have a great shot on one of his other ships.
So here's an idea.
Would have probably killed it. So he opted just to not shoot. Here's
an idea that I just had. So there's a tech upgrade where you're allowed to place your ship at 0 something something and 12.
Right.
Yeah, 0, 6, or 12.
Any other ship that enters the board gets a focus token, right?
Right.
Isn't
or
there,
no, an evade, I think.
Focus or evade, and it has to be range 1 to 2 of that ship you just placed.
Right. So I'm trying to think here. You have that new tech upgrade that allows you to keep focus tokens.
Yeah.
So if you had a ship that had something that could go completely across the board, use that focus token to shoot something at somebody, and still take an action, that would be pretty cool.
I think with that upgrade though, like everybody can get focus tokens. It's not hard to get a focus token. So usually you see people using that to help prime like a comm relay on a ship that can't do an evade itself. Otherwise, I
Right.
really haven't seen that upgrade really used much
But
at
like,
all.
let's talk about a really fast-paced first turn Alpha Strike Deadeye.
Well, if your opponent lines up directly across from that, they've lost already.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, I just looking at some card combinations. No, but what did I run? I ran Dallin, Oberos, and the Kimagila with Veteran Instincts, Harpoon Missile, Enforcer Title, and Harpoon Missile. Did I miss anything? I'm trying to think. I don't think I did. And I ran a Cartel Executioner with Deadeye, R4 Agromech, Harpoon Missile, Guidance Chip. That's what I missed. I got it right here. Dallin Oberos, Guidance Chips, Enforcer, Veteran Instincts, Harpoon Missile, Unhinged Astromech. I had Captain Nim, Havoc Title, Veteran Instincts, Auto Blaster Shirt, Bomblet Generator, Trajectory Simulator, Genius, and then I had a Deadeye Cartel Executioner with Harpoon, Guidance, and R4 Agromech. And I will tell you that if you had questions about the reload action, there was a match that I had gotten 4 harpoons off with only 2 harpoons in my list. So if you can bring those things out, reload, come back in.
So better off doing that than extra munitions.
Yes, because the first match that I played coach with, I had extra munitions on all my Kimagias. And I never shot another harpoon missile.
Right.
I believe it's because of the fact that I don't know. It just didn't happen. I'm not a big fan of extra munitions anyway. And I found it more useful to have higher pilot skills because I had, I had a Skurg, the pilot skill 3 one that had that EPT, and then I had 2 Cartel Executioners. I used those 4 points to upgrade to the higher pilot skills, and I feel like that helped me out way more than what I got out of the value of the extra munitions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the only time I've really had extra munitions work out really well was with Dengar Teltravera. And just having those torpedoes to really punch made it so that if people were in really close, they were just getting slammed by Dengar all over the place. If they tried to run away, they were getting torpedoes just coming at them from the rear, and that was always bad for them. I like that combo. It's a good list. Won my store championship with it. That was a fun list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting list.
I feel like this is what I was doing with that list. In certain situations, what I would do is I would turn one in, go for a block, and then I would reload. And then I had a weapons disable token, which meant nothing to me because I knew I wasn't going to have a shot because I was going to use it as my blocker. And then the turn after that, that's when I had gotten my shot off. So, yeah.
And on the Kimogila, it's a bit more of a gamble because like I was looking at the reload action a lot more on the gunboat, where you can still fire as long as you have a target lock on the guy. Which if you're firing, munitions, you're probably going to have a target lock on him anyways. You can just sit there and like reload fire every single turn.
Right.
Assuming you have a target.
Well, that's the beauty of R4 Agromech, because you can fire your first harpoon off, and then you get guidance chips, and then you have that focus token to modify your dice, and then you acquire the target lock. You don't have the harpoon anymore, You bring them in for a block. You already have the target lock. You reload. And then the turn after that, you K-turn behind them or do whatever you have to, and then get your harpoon off again with the target lock that you acquired from spending your focus token. So there's situations where it works.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun with it. Another thing, too, is the whole reason why I asked that is because the first turn of engagement, I had a bomblet token in front of Nim, and it didn't damage Nim. But I was wondering if it did, if I did get to get that additional evade token, because it was through the bomblet. So, and Trajectory Simulator is really good on Captain Nim, which, to no surprise, it's not as good as Advanced Sensor Nim, but I tell you what, it brings Nim back a little bit better, and he's kind of more wholesome, should we say, than he was before with Advanced Sensors and Genius.
Yeah, I can get that.
So I'm done with my list. Montana, do you got anything that you want to talk about that you're thinking about running since you haven't hit the tabletop lately?
Well, I have played this on Vassal 3 or 4 times, and I kind of like it.
That counts.
So, yeah, but I mean, I haven't played since the new wave came out, and it doesn't contain any of the stuff from the new wave. But sure, I'll talk about what I'm flying. So I have, and this is definitely a little bit different, but I have a Saj with Trick Shot, Dengar, instead of Lots. I know, kind of shocking. Rigged Cargo Chute, Shadowcaster Title, and Gyroscopic Targeting. And then I have 2 Scouts loaded out the same: Intelligence Agent, Rigged Cargo Chute, and Trick Shot. So very much a stress control blocking list, and anytime you shoot through debris, of which you can put 3 more on the board, you get an extra die. Asajj hits like a truck with Dengar and usually able to get a focus in there. And then she tractor beams somebody with a Shadowcaster Title, usually off of a contracted scout that did blocking so that the scout can shoot them again, or to put them behind debris or on debris so that they get more trick shots. It's been pretty fun. It's got a lot of health, pretty hard to chew through that list. Asajj doesn't last as long as she does when she has Lots, but she puts out a good amount of damage. And the entire list doesn't care about stress at all, which is really nice.
Those are my favorite lists. The ones that don't care about stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was running Captain Yor the other day, and man, is he fun to just run straight through debris tokens and be like, whatever. It's like, I got collision detector, I'm not going to roll any damage, and whatever, I'm stressed out of my mind anyways all the time because I'm taking stress from other people. You know, like, this won't bother me.
Yeah. Did you see that Abitsin one that I was running that had Hera, collision detector, link batteries, and what the hell was the other? It had an EPT. I can't remember what it was. And he had like stacks of stress on him, and I'm just getting re-rolls, and I can keep doing whatever maneuver I want.
You know, that's really not bad.
It was pretty stupid hilarious.
You only put like 2 points of upgrades, no 3 on there.
Yeah, because you have the B2 on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put Trick Shot on there and just land on all the debris. And...
Yep.
Yeah, but then you're flying a B-Wing, and everybody knows B-Wings are bad.
Well,
yeah, you keep them lean.
I'll take... Here's the funny thing about it, is I'll take a bits and that loadout over Test Pilot Blackout. I will.
Yeah, that's significantly cheaper.
And it pretty much does the same thing. Kinda?
Kinda. Not really. But I like it, though.
Just compare a B-Wing to a TIE silencer.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for B-Wings.
Yeah, I miss my B-Wings. That was the wave when I started playing, was the spring right before the B-Wing came out. And when I saw that they announced the B-Wing, I was like, yes, like I am so excited. And I got one of my friends to pick it up at Gen Con for me. And first thing I did when I got out of the package, stuck it up on its peg and just cranked it 90 degrees. Like not even a magnet or anything. I just ripped the plastic, and because it's a bit of a softer plastic, it just kind of like did like just like, you know, screwed it a little bit, and it held there for a long time, and then like over time it started getting wobbly, and then it fell off finally at one tournament, and then I finally had to put the magnet in it, so now it can fly any way it wants. But like that kind of scared the person who was sitting across from me. I just
Coach couldn't have given me a better list the first time I participated in a tournament. I just went to go watch the game, and he's like, well, what do you mean, you're just gonna watch? I said, yeah, I just came to see what James was doing. You know, he talked to me about this game that he was really enjoying, and I wanted to see what it was about. He's like, no, you don't have to sit back and watch. I've got plenty of ships for you to run. He's like, I've got this 3 B-Wing list back here that you can run. You want to fly that? I'm like, what? B-Wings? I'm in. Because my favorite ships when I watched Star Wars as a kid were the A-Wings and the B-Wings, and all I wanted to do was fly lists with A-Wings and B-Wings, and yeah, sold.
Yeah, my first favorite list was an embarrassing one.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, you remember this? It was my 2 B-Wing squad and nothing else.
I know, it was great.
Oh, I've seen those before.
Oh, that was so good, though, because he did so well in a lot of tournaments, too.
I did actually pretty well. But
yeah, nowadays you wouldn't, but back then you did.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was just funny
no way in hell.
It was basically Brobots, but B-Wings, so basically significantly worse. I had Kayan and Ibitsim, however you say that, both with Push the Limit, both with heavy laser cannon, both with the B-Wing E2 mod, one with C-3PO, one with Kyle Katarn, and that made them super defensive. And what did I do with the extra points? I think I put plasma torpedoes on there, on both of them. It was horrific. And if you jousted them, like, you died. I mean, because they had focus, target lock every single round. And yeah, I remember I played James, and he played double Houndstooth and a Star Viper or something, and I tabled him with my 2 B-Wings. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
That was not a good list, but it was fun. And then I found the IDs.
My first ever tournament list also had Ibitsim in it. And this was way early on. Well, I guess it wasn't. It was my first official tournament list, because I just played casual until that fall right after the B-Wing came out, and I had Ibitsim, Wedge, and Kyle Katarn in the Hawk, and all 3 of them had Adrenaline Rush. And man, people did not see those coming. And like they messed up some people, and I took down probably 3 store kit tournaments with that list, and I just didn't quit playing it because, you know, I was doing well with it. But then I took it to the first campaign against Cancer, and came up against Dom Cairo, and he showed me what real X-Wing players do, and just ripped it to shreds. And he was like, he was flying 3 Lambdas in Soontir. I was like, 3 Lambdas, this should be easy. And he just tore me apart, tabled me.
Yeah, if you've never I remember experiencing that my first time too, because I didn't get to go to Gen Con the first time the guys had went, because I just recently met everybody and just got into the game. Like literally, like what was it? We did the whole first season of League, and then they left and came back, and that's what we got for prizes was the new unreleased ships. I picked up the K-Wing before it was released from Gen Con. Coach was practicing with me for what he was going to bring to Gen Con. And I was running my Reaper Squadron at the time, which was 2 A-Wings and a B-Wing, which consisted of Gemmer Sojin, Kane Farlander, and Jake Farrell. Jake Farrell had Proton. Well, yeah. Because that, like I said, when I first started the game, all I wanted to do was fly B-Wings and A-Wings. And, but I won League with that because there was so many fat Hans and Decimators that I was able to just fly in, Alpha Strike the ever-living piss out of those ships to the point where they didn't exist anymore. And nobody expected that because Gemmer Sojin would just block.
Right. You had proton rockets on both the A-Wings and heavy laser cannon on Kian. So
Correct.
For a Decimator, you're looking at pretty much their entire health that first round if you can get the engagement right. So that's... I mean, yeah, it's an older list, but there's definitely nothing to sneeze at back in the day.
It's an older list, but it checks out.
Right. Exactly.
So I remember I'm like, yeah, I'm really good against these low agility ships with my Alpha Strike because I didn't even know what Alpha Strike was back then. I'm like, I'm just going to go in there, nuke his ship, and then he's going to be like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Because that was my favorite thing to do back in the day. Come back from that. So I'm like, 3 Lambdas, because that's what Coach ran when he went to Gen Con.
Yeah.
He ran 3 Lambdas, and he's like, well, I'm going to practice this list. I'm looking at him like, I got this in the bag. I fly in there. I don't kill one of them in the first engagement, lose the ship. And then all I can remember is having one of his Lambdas dead and my poor Kane Farlander going, oh my God, these things attack dice that are just insane.
Yeah, against a B-Wing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he just castle in the corner?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Coach.
Typical Coach.
But yeah, I just think that's funny. Brings me back to the day. Talking about B-Wings and Lambdas.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Sounds like we should close out the show.
I think so.
Yeah, now time to wrap up.
All right. Man, it's been so long since I've done this. I need it in the show notes. Guys, if you have any suggestions, please email ocxradio@gmail.com. If you have any lists that we can make fun of on the air, that is also ocxradio@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening.
Yub.
Ooh la loo.
Oh!
I beat you.
Yeah, you did, barely. But you got us out there.
Got a lot of editing to do. This definitely brings back memories of the original podcasting when we were not as good at it. And I had to edit out a lot more pauses. This one's going to be work.
You really need to have one of those people that is just, constantly okay with filling dead air. And, Coach does that well.
Oh, I am not that guy. Oh, yeah, we need to do snaps and then stop Audacity.
Oh, I just stopped it.
Oh, no. You monster.
Okay. Well, let's just stop ours real quick. That'll be close enough for me.
Oh, I'm such a horrible person. You said
it's okay. I'll figure it out.
You said, let's stop it now. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this into the Dropbox before I go to bed like I always do.
Right.
Oh, that's mistakes were made.
Yeah. What is it? Episode 29?
30.
Oh my God.
I know.
We made it.
Yes, I did.
You know what? That was nostalgia for the listeners right there. You doing the outro and the intro. It's
well, I've never done the intro. They can't be nostalgic about that.
You see, Coach just jumped on and yelled at us.
For what?
Yeah. He said, man, you guys suck without me.
That last part did suck. That's going to be a lot of editing, but it's okay. I can do it.
Less excitement, more content.
Yeah. Lowest downloads ever.
When our powers combined.
Am I coming to Calgary for regionals? No, probably not. How far away is that? I'm pretty close to Canada. Google Maps.
Yeah, the problem is Canada's huge. Like, there's a lot of Canada up there.
A lot of uncharted Canada.
Big.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm super close to Canada. It's like Canada's only right on the other side of Detroit for me. But then, to get to anywhere that has a big X-Wing hub, it's like, oh, shit.
Well, I'm actually pretty close to Calgary.
Oh, cool.
As far as being near a place in Canada, it's only 8 hours away.
Okay.
It's like us making that Kansas City trip again, John. You really want to do that?
Hey, I like that. That was fun.
Well, for me, going up to Worlds is like an 8-hour trip.
Yeah,
which still isn't all that bad, like compared to what some people have to deal with. See, the problem is I live in a city that's just big enough to have a decent airport, but small enough that all the decent airlines are charging ridiculous prices.
Yeah.
So it's like flying out just sucks, but it's an option.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely not coming to that. That's too far, and I don't think anybody would want to come with me. So.
Yeah, if it's 8 hours from you, it's probably like 30 hours away from me.
Yeah, it'll be. Actually, like you could come visit me on the way. Because a lot of people, you go north right through, right near me. It's when you'd start going north into Canada anyway.
John, if I was to come out there to visit you, it would be to come out there and visit you. It wouldn't be to go somewhere else.
Should just come out here and I'll hire you. You can just work out here.
Yeah, I know. You've been pitching me that spill for a while. But if it was just me, it would be an easy decision to make.
Yep.
Yeah, family kind of makes that a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he left me, is because of family. Now he wants me to leave my family because of him.
Well, obviously. I don't see a double
only
standard.
Fair, right?
Yeah. Hey, I have an idea. How about we just go work in Spirit Lake, all of us? We just move all of our families there.
No, if we're going to move everybody somewhere, we're going to move somewhere where you don't have pig crap in the air.
I can't smell it anymore, man. And you couldn't either because you worked here and lived here so long.
Yeah, it's true. When they were opening up the machine, they were like, oh, do you smell that? And I was like, no. And then it took a while, but they got stronger, and then I could smell it. But I'm definitely still used to it. Oh man,
you're really making me want to visit.
I'm not shitting you. It smells like ass, especially this time of the year. Well, it's getting better because it's getting cold and it freezes up into the ground. But oh my God, I remember that day we came back from Chicago. We were in Chicago for like 5 days. And you got the smell of the city, and you were just not used to smelling hog shit. And like, I could tell that we were getting close to Iowa just by just smelling the hog shit. I'm like, well, I know we're in Iowa now. It's bad.
Yeah.
Like every farm should be required like every so often to just take a whole pig and just roast it outside so that smell can drift around.
Yeah. When I lived in Sioux Center, we lived right next to a bacon factory. So you get the nice mix of both.
Golden crisp. Yep. Every morning you would wake up, or every morning I would pull into Nebchot's because that's where I used to work. And it was right across the street. It was like somebody was making the most phenomenal breakfast. And you would just get so hungry because it was smelled like tons and tons of bacon.
Yeah, it was always the days where I forgot to eat breakfast that I really smelled the bacon factory. Torture. And then the wind would shift, and then you get pig crap again.
Yeah, if it came, what was it? If it came from the west, you smelled bacon. If it came from the east, you got pig shit.
That's quite a gamble.
Yeah.
Day in the life of an Iowan.
Yeah. Well, not to mention like the thousands and thousands of stupid wild animals that are running all over the place trying to mate with each other and avoid getting shot at, running across the roads.
Yeah, those teenagers are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I
They
see
disguise
what there.
themselves. They disguise themselves as deer.
Yeah, it's like Pennsylvania is the worst for hitting deer, and then Iowa, and then Montana.
Yeah, I lived in Pennsylvania. I had a deer hit me.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's like, how does that even happen?
Well, here you want to know
your car probably.
You want to know a really cool story? Last year, about a year and a month ago, Glenn became Glenn because a giant 10-point buck decided on a foggy day that he was going to have just as good visibility as I was. I was going about 55 miles an hour. And all I remember is this big, stupid, brown, dumb deer face out of the peripheral vision. And I only remember this because I go back and look at it. Like, it all happened within a millisecond. But I seen this stupid big face of a deer in my passenger side, or not my passenger side, my driver's side window. And the goddamn thing put his head all the way through my window and headbutted me and then ricocheted off my hood as I was slowing down. Oh,
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine, a deer ran in front, and I like slowed down a bit for that, and I was like, oh, sweet, I'm safe. Didn't realize that the second one was coming, and the second one ran into my car, the front right quarter panel, and tumbled all the way down the back side of it, just damaging everything. Now, fortunately, I don't know how I landed in this, but I had a $0 deductible for animal collisions. So my Camaro got a whole brand new paint job all down the right side.
Because you live in Pennsylvania, I'm sure that's something they have to have for being the top state for having animal collisions.
Right.
Yeah. And then, what was it, like 2 months ago, I just got done finally eating that deer. Because it was funny, because I called up my brother-in-law. I'm like, you haven't come through town yet. You want to help me pick up this deer? Because they'll give you a ticket to pick up the animal that you hit so you can salvage the meat from it. So the thing was still limping around, and the cop put like 3 bullets in its head. And we threw it in the back of my brother-in-law's truck. Yeah. And then we made deer brats, ground deer sausage, and all sorts of shit out of it. And the damn animal lasted about a year. So.
I believe we have run out of all the things.
Yes.
7-minute rule. Every 7 minutes, conversation comes to an end.
Okay. They were trying to convince Coach to jump on.
Yeah, he still should.
He's live streaming X-Wing tomorrow.
Live stream tomorrow?
Oh, that's going to be...
I'm going to be busy watching Star Wars.
That's going to be us, because they're closing the store down so we can all watch the movie. So I'll be there right after work, and then I'll play a game of L5R, and then I'll probably play a game of with Coach before we head to the movie theater. So...
So when are we going to do a spoiler-filled episode? Everybody's talking about leaving spoilers out of things.
Yeah, whenever that happens, I'm not editing it until I've seen the movie.
just go see the damn movie.
Yeah.
And
tell your dad
Luke
to use one of your nice vacation days.
Yeah.
Luke Carrington hasn't even seen the trailer yet. He's been avoiding spoilers that hard.
What?
Yeah, I don't even know how he's done that.
There was nothing in the trailer.
There's plenty in the trailer. Plenty of vague hints.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I asked him, do you even know what a porg is? And he was like, I've seen a picture of one. I have no idea anything else about it. I was like, that's about anything, all that any of us know, but...
Yeah.
Like, it's cute and it screams. Sure. And I'm guessing it's a good guy.
Yeah, it was in the Falcon, right? So.
Right.
Oh man, major spoilers already.
Nope.
Oh no.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
It's in the trailer. It's fair game.
Oh, yeah. No, but there's people who have already seen it, and I'm like, I will probably just shut off my phone tomorrow and not communicate on Facebook at all.
Yep.
Just because I don't want to deal with that one jerk. Although for at least 2 people, I'm going to be that jerk. Because I have a list of people who like to ruin things like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. Those people...
Bastards.
Those people are on my list. And I am
going to... caught up on Walking Dead?
I am basically going to live tweet them whatever giant bombshell happens in Star Wars, because I know that they're going to see it in like 2-3 days. I'm just right to them. Just boom. There you go. I did the exact same thing.
Dead?
Yeah,
I am not.
Oh, damn it. So I can't talk to Chico about it?
Correct. Unless all you've watched is Netflix. I haven't watched it live.
Well, I have the ability to stream it live, so
yep.
I'm all caught up on the mid-season finale of the newest episode.
Should I just mute?
Shit. I don't think I've seen all those. I think I've only seen the ones on Netflix.
Oh my god, okay. So I can't talk to either one of you guys about the last one I just watched.
Unless you want me to ruin Star Wars for you.
Nope. That's why I'm not even going to get on the internet tomorrow. I've got all the activities that I need scheduled to keep my mind off of it, and then I'll see it, and then I can do whatever I want.
Last time Star Wars came out, and I spoiled it for those couple people just because they're asshats, so I had to. I sent to them like a whole bunch of binary, just ones and zeros, because I know these are like tech people. And then I put right after it, you probably shouldn't translate this. So of course they're going to. And when they translated it, it said Han Solo's dead. and they're like, you son of a bitch! I was like, suck it. Yeah.
I have to piss. Yeah, we weren't even talking Walking Dead because he just said that he's not caught up either.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
Now we can hear him.
Could have told you that. Yeah, I muted.
Well, he did before. He did right before you took your headphones off. He's like, I'm only caught up on the ones on Netflix too. So.
Oh, well, I had already muted my sound, so.
That's all right. What do you guys want to do? You guys want to sit around and bullshit some more? Or do you guys want to call it? Because I got to piss and I think I want to get to bed too. So
yeah, I'm gonna call it.
Just go to bed.
I'm gonna stop the stream.